ECLISE and Reflourished are household names of PvZ mods, changing the ways of PvZ2's grindy and uninspiring gameplay. While those mods have in fact been successful in revamping and adding onto PvZ2, why have there not been similar mods made for PvZ1 that extend and improve its gameplay? This begs the question of why PopCap never bothered making a DLC for such a popular game when bonus content is already on the Limbo page. It's not like they didn't update the game because they added Zombatar, which seems kind of odd. Instead of releasing new levels that get players playing more, you release an avatar maker? This is where PvZ Expansion comes in. This mod's goal is not to simply make the game impossible, but rather to extend and improve on various aspects that PvZ1 had not done well in. Why am I saying this is the best mod yet? Well, let's first get to understand what this mod is all about to understand why this is one of the best, if not the best PvZ1 mod to date. This mod is the quintessential DLC to PvZ1. It adds extra levels to adventure mode and extra mini games, but also alters some gameplay aspects to make the game more fun to play. This mod includes a World 6 in Adventure, which I think is a necessity to include in every PvZ1 at this point to have a Night Roof world. But in my opinion, this version of Night Roof feels the most vanilla and not just a slap in your face in terms of here's some pile of some botanies. It retains the PvZ1 level format, where 6-1, 6-3, 6-6, and 6-8 all introduce new zombies into play, and the next level 6-2, 6-4, 6-7, and 6-9 are more difficult versions of the level previous. These new zombies aren't just a zombotany with a protection added like in Bruno mode. Actually, new zombies that are very recognizable faces in the PvZ universe. We have the Trash Can Zombie from Versus Mode, the Buckethead Screen Door Zombie from PvZ Plus, the Giga Football Zombie from PvZ Demo, and of course the Giga Gargantuar. As for what they do, I'll let you explore for yourself when you have the time to play yourself, just like the first time you've played PvZ1. Apart from the 8 normal Choose Your Seats levels on Night Roof, the Zomboss fight is now pushed to 6-10 to make a completely new 5-10, similar to those of previous worlds. 5-10 features all the plants and zombies from Roof in a conveyor belt level style, which is extremely cool, and there are finally 10 levels in each area of the game in adventure mode. As for 6-5, you can see what minigame was adapted for adventure mode here. Oh, and my favorite level is this one. This is the layout of the infamous level 6-9 in this mod. Yeah, unsurprisingly, this is the hardest level in the game and truly feels like the real penultimate level to the final boss that 5-9 completely failed in creating the feeling of. On top of 10 completely new levels in adventure, what is the main selling point of this mod in my opinion is the minigames that have been added for you to experience yourself. I can click on the minigames tab and as you can see, not 1, not 2, but 3 pages of new minigames you can play. And guess what? The modder even took time to make new icons for literally every single level to make it look clean. Did you like some botany? So here's some botany 3, 4, and 5. What's that? Do you want even more Zombotanies? Okay, here you go. Zombotany Survival, Survival Hard, and even Survival Endless. And it's not like these are just rip-offs of the original Zombotany minigames. In each Zombotany level, new Zombotanies are introduced with their own unique abilities. For example, Zombotany 3 introduces 4 new zombies in one level all at once, adapting mostly the daytime plants to Zombotanies. The Snow Pea Zombie and Repeater Zombie bridge the gap between easy and difficult to beat Zombotanies. Their abilities are self-explanatory by their names, and they make the early game much more interesting instead of just pea shooter zombie spam for 3 minutes straight. Moreover, the introduction of Chomper and Cherry Bomb zombies is a great change in pace, as a column of walls in Zombotany 1 used to just invalidate everything the game threw at you. Chomper Zombie is a direct upgrade from the Squash Zombie, devours any plant it comes in contact with instantly, and then does it again after a short cooldown. The Cherry Bomb Zombie is even more devastating. Once it comes in contact with a plant, it will detonate all plants in a 3x3 area around it, making it a stronger version of Jack-in-the-Box. These two zombies force the players to change up their strategy rather than just plant walnuts to block peas, so you now need to consider how far back you want to plant your walls to still defend off Zombotany peas. After featuring 2 Zombotany levels during the daytime, Zombotany 4 brings even more intrigue as it shifts to the roof setting, presenting a new challenge of defending against 5 new zombies. As the player, you have the advantage of being able to use the umbrella leaf, which can deflect catapult shots, which makes the early game cabbage pole zombies kind of a joke. However, umbrella leaf won't protect you against garlic zombies. It is the intermediary threat in this level, akin to the piano zombies effect to repeatedly change lanes. This causes plants to miss their shots while the garlic zombie is changing lanes, so you need to be careful not to let them get through your defense. After the first flag, in retaliation, the zombies sent out. Umbrella leaf zombies likewise deflect any catapult shots from the plants. If you're using cabbage poles or melon poles as your main attackers, you're in for a bit of trouble. Conventional roof strategies will not work here. You've got to figure out how to deal with the umbrella leaf zombies, either find a way around them or get some instant kill plants to take them out. Okay, after all these Zombotany levels, why wasn't there a Zombotany at nighttime for the mushroom plants? That is what Zombotany 5 is about, taking place in fog. In Zombotany 5, the best plants in the game have teamed up together to create the toughest Zombotany level yet. Instead of pea shooter or cabbage pole zombies, the basic zombie in this level is the starfruit zombie, which does significantly more damage due to their multi-attack. But remember, it's nighttime, so you can use puff shrooms against starfruit zombies, as they are considered short and can't get hit by starfruit stars. Puff Shroom receives a massive nerf in this mod, having only half the range it did in the original game, making it nowhere near as good. So you've been using walls or umbrella leaf to block off the Zombotany projectiles, which is where Fume Shroom Zombie comes in to completely ignore all of these defensive plants. Their piercing mechanic means that you are forced to plant plants from afar, since close-range plants will get damaged by them, limiting options like starfruits to be used. If you previously used a Puff Shroom to stop a squash zombies, then you're out of luck this time because the Hypno Shroom zombie converts the plant it touches into a Zombotany counterpart. And by converting, if it doesn't have a Zombotany counterpart, you get a Tallnut zombie in its spot instead. Unless you want to deal with an extra Tallnut zombie, don't use Puff Shroom and instead kill it safely from afar. What about the Ice Shroom zombie? Well, once its fuse goes off, it freezes every plant and also slows them down until the chilling effect wears off. You certainly don't want this to happen. The zombies have now also harnessed the power of nukes and brought them onto their side. The Doom Shroom zombies are certainly something to witness in this mod as well. I mean, it can't be that bad, right? And if you manage to beat that, then you want a new challenge. Try Zombotany Survival, Survival Hard, and Survival Endless. In these levels, all the Zombotanies from 1 to 5 will appear, as well as Survival exclusive Zombotanies which include Wintermelon and Gravebuster zombies here. Zombotany Survival Endless is no joke. The amount of projectiles that are on the screen at once is insane, especially because the maximum spawns per wave has been increased to 400 individual zombies in this mod. And what makes this game mode especially deadly are the Ice Shroom zombies. Unlike Jack-in-the-Box zombies, which you can't just let explode, these guys, yeah, you basically cannot do anything against them. Other than just Zombotany, several other minigames get their own sequel in this mod. Ice-Sodded is the sequel to Unsodded, but in the pool with permanent ice trails, and you have to defend against bobsled teams. Another extension of not being able to plant in some lanes, we also have the Unsodded Survival series that is playable, which is basically Survival Day but you can't plant in row 1 or 5. There's also a sequel to both Dark Stormy Night and Invisighoul, now returning in a Choose Your Seats format. New art challenges were also added, like Potato Minefield, which is for making a minefield of potato mines, and then you also have... In addition to sequels for many minigames, there are also even more interesting levels that twist the rules of PvZ, as you can now play as the zombies to beat the zombies in Zombies vs Zombies. And it's not as simple as just placing down a buckethead zombie for every opposing buckethead zombie you see, because trading zombies 1 for 1 is not efficient. You need to plan ahead and know how many low health zombies you want as damage while ensuring you have enough protection to keep them alive by placing higher health zombies. Pop Goes the Zombie is another similar to the style of Bobsled Bonanza and Pogo Party, and this iteration on the idea of mass zombies of one type in one level uses Jack-in-the-Box zombies. However, this minigame is actually relatively tough in terms of difficulty when compared to other minigames. You may be tempted to just use Magnet Shroom to counter Jack-in-the-Box zombies, but then the problem with that is that Magnet Shrooms don't attract fast enough to be worth it. You will have to find a good strategy against the Jack-in-the-Box zombies because using the Pogo Party strategy to just Magnet Shroom every Pogo zombie isn't going to work here. There's even an exclusive world lock behind just one minigame. Pool Party, as its name implies, is the level where the entire lawn is a pool and you don't even start with any lily pads. Oh, and there's even mini-games made in reference to some of the most popular PvZ challenges ever on YouTube. There's Wii Smash, a level where all the zombies are gargantuars. Throwback to General John's challenge of trying to beat Survival Day but every zombie is a gargantuar. Oh, and remember how Shy Guy Mask beat the game without any some producers, including in nighttime levels? Well... And in the infamous one-column series, we have an iteration of this in the form of Border Treaty, where you are restricted to only 3 columns of planting space. There are lots more to explore, including the ported minigames from other versions of PvZ1, like Butter Popcorn from the mobile version, as well as DS version exclusives, Hit Wave, and Bomb altogether. What if Brutal Mode 610 was a real minigame? Check out Dr. Zomboss's Final Revenge, and try to beat Zomboss without a conveyor belt and instead in a choose your seats format. There's just so much to showcase that it's insane how the modder managed to make so many new levels, considering there are literally 3 pages worth of new content. There are even more than 3 new pages of minigames. Yes, even the balance changes are one of, if not the best changes I've seen in any mod. Although the mod was mostly focused on extending the game by adding new levels with more gimmicks and new zombies, several of the useless plants received buffs while the strongest options were nerfed severely. Chomper, one of the worst plants in the original game, now finishes swallowing 33% faster, drastically improving its usability. Repeater, which has always been worse than Repeater in versatility, gets a small buff, costing 25 less sun to plant, putting it on par with the 100 sun per P-shot standard price point. Planter now costs 50 more sun, but instead of just lighting up the fog and being useless everywhere else in the game, it now heals all plants around it over time. I also totally did not try it on last stand to only realize it doesn't heal until the zombies actually come. Seashroom, a notably bad plant because of its recharge, now recharges twice as quick to put it more on par with Puffshroom. Cactus, instead of being completely useless outside of popping balloons, now gains the ability to ignore the roof slope and is now usable as a straight shooter on roof levels. It also gets an indirect buff as Blover costs 50 more now and has slow recharge, making it not a reliable counter against balloon zombies. However, Blover gains the additional ability to now knock back all zombies on the screen by a towel when planted, making it not useless outside of killing balloon zombies. Furthermore, Cattail is nerfed to cost 325 sun now as well, which further encourages players to use Cactus as a means of popping balloons, while its targeting is now significantly improved. With all this talk about sun cost, you might have also noticed that Sunflower now costs 100 sun. You might say that's a nerf, but sunflowers now also produce sun faster than before. Now, all this price change doesn't really make any sense, so let's listen to what the mod creator has to say. Quote, "It is almost always a better strategy to plant sun producers in the front and attackers in the back. The sunflower can almost serve as an emergency stall plant because of its low cost. And in my opinion, this is one of the best changes the mod made, since I don't think the original creator of the game, George Fan, ever intended on sunflowers being used as a stalling plant. It highly rewards players who can effectively protect their sunflowers due to its more compact sun production, and also punishes players using sunflower as just an emergency stalling plant. This sort of design puts more emphasis on rewarding the strategist who strategically protects their defense while punishing more those who are lazy, which in my opinion improves the game. Likewise, Sunshroom receives a similar change and is now also twice as expensive, but produces sun faster like the sunflower as well. Twin Sunflower on the other hand still costs us 150 sun but produces sun faster, making it more worth it to spend a slot on including Twin Sunflower as a means of extra production. Aside from revamping the sun producer plants, one of the problems between Cabbage Pole and Kernel Pole in vanilla was they both cost 100 sun and often there would not really be any difference between them when used as an attacker. This mod addresses it by raising Kernel Pole's cost to 150, while it is 75% more likely to lob a putter. This change differentiates it more from Cabbage Pole to being a stalling utility plant. And finally, Coffee Bean, instead of only being usable with mushroom plants in the daytime to wake them up, can now be used on every plant for different effects. When planted on any attacking plant, that plant will gain a short mint-like boost to allow it to attack much faster. And if planted on a plant with an arming time, like Potato Mine, it will instantly activate its ability and wake it up. This is especially good with Chomper. Is a Chomper getting threatened? No problem, just plant a coffee bean to finish swallowing that last zombie. And you can also plant it on a magnet shroom to instantly pull away another metallic object without needing to plant another magnet shroom. And everyone's favorite most useless plant in the game, Gold Magnet, now actually helps you win by gaining the ability to collect sun for you so you can focus on working on your defense. All these changes are exceptionally great to create more variety in strategy, as these plants have been neglected in the majority of the game's levels where they are just not applicable. However, to let these plants get more room to breathe, the strongest options in the original version of PvZ also received hefty nerfs to reflect their true strength. The 4 best late game plants have all received a price increase of a whopping 200 sun. Doom Shroom, Wintermelon, Cob Cannon, and Gloom Shroom all cost 200 more now. Most notably, Puff Shroom gets a 50% range nerf as shown previously, but it's still the best plant because you still play it in every night level. I suppose a 0 sun attacker is just that strong. Scary Day Shroom also now gets scared in a 3x5 area instead of a 3x3 area. This is to prevent Scary Day Shroom spam from being too good after Pop Shroom's nerf. Other nerfs include Starfruit cost increase to 175 sun, and Umbrella Leaf cost increase to 250 sun, and finally both Garlic and Umbrella Leaf now have slow recharge instead of fast. Now, of course, with more expensive sunflowers and sun shrooms, having 50 starting sun would mean you can't plant any sun producers initially. This calls for the starting sun to be increased to allow the player to plant a sunflower initially. However, this is when I should mention there are 2 difficulties. Normal difficulty is the intended difficulty, where players start with 150 sun. However, in hard mode, players start with 100 sun only when the level begins. What's the difference between normal and hard other than just 50 starting sun? Well, in hard mode, there are double the zombies every wave compared to in normal mode. The spawning algorithm was also entirely overhauled in this mod to improve on multiple flawed level designs and also make the game more challenging. The difficulty only increases by 1 basic zombie equivalent every 3 waves in the original PvZ, making it possible to beat with all kinds of ridiculous restrictions because it was so easy. In this mod, however, after the first 2 waves of the level, the number of zombies will increase every wave, and obviously in hard mode, you have even faster difficulty ramping. Even in just normal difficulty, this is 3 times as many zombies compared to the base game as the level progresses. As a result, some of the flawed level designs were fixed entirely because of this change to the difficulty ramping. In a level like 5-9 where there are Gargantuars, because of the extremely slow difficulty ramping in the original version of PvZ, it was only possible to see at most 2 Gargantuars in 5-9. And now the game is substantially harder as it spawns more zombies every wave, which means we also get to see a much wider range of threats throughout the level, making it more strategic. These changes actually cause some of the minigames to become very tough. Notably, Last Stand is now really hard where so many more zombies spawn throughout the level. So I'd suggest trying this mod on normal first, and for those experienced folks out there, attempt hard mode at your own risk of losing your sanity. As for how the difficulty of this mod compares to other mods, I've made a table as a reference for how spawning differs. In a nutshell, Expansion's hard mode starts the game easier with more sun and also fewer zombies compared to Brutal mode. However, with more starting sun and fewer zombies early on, you're expected to be able to deal with much more zombies later on. By wave 8, you're already dealing with more zombies than in the Brutal mode mod series. That gap of difficulty between the Brutal mode mod series expands even more later on, making this possibly the hardest by numbers non-Kaizo difficulty mod as hard mode mods go. Aside from the spawning algorithm, each flag now truly feels more impactful as a huge wave, since zombie ambush attacks will now spawn every flag instead of only at the final wave. These are grave ambushes in nighttime, pool zombies in pool and fog, and bungee ambushes in roof and night roof levels. With this many zombies, some levels with 4 flags become outright stupidly difficult to beat on hard mode. This is especially true for the Nice level, which is a 4 flag level. This level took me more than 6 hours to beat on hard mode because the amount of zombies after the 3rd flag is basically the same as playing Survival Endless. Just take a look at this. Another aspect of the game that was improved is that lawnmowers no longer stop zombies from spawning in their lanes for the next few waves. This was a necessary change, unfortunately, because of this rule set that the zombies can't spawn in a lane where lawnmowers were just used, created really stupid strategies on some levels. Notably, this means that it is now unfortunately impossible to cheese the Zomboss fight by forcing everything into one row, making it impossible to deal with only 2 slots or 1 column. Now, granted, it could have just been an explicit rule set that was disabled when fighting Zomboss, but it has wider applications such as beating 1-2 with only sunflowers. Yes, it is in fact doable. Thank you to J-Chan for showing me that this indeed was possible when they were beating the game with all zombies having 10 times more health. On top of lawnmowers no longer suppressing spawns, several adventure levels now also include more zombies or had their zombies changed to make the game more interesting. 2-9 now includes Football Zombie, which actually makes the level no longer cheesable with just Sunshroom and Fume Shroom, as there were previously no high health zombies in the level. Then, in 3-4, dancing zombies make an appearance after being absent in adventure mode in the original PvZ outside of nighttime, which is a nice touch to see more underused zombies. And the fact that dancing zombies only appear in nighttime makes them deceptively weak at face value. In nighttime, Fume Shrooms make dancing zombies look like a joke in difficulty. However, in 3-4, you have no access to area damaging plants other than instant kills. And oh boy, on hard mode, masses of dancing zombies absolutely wreak havoc on your defenses. I was barely able to make it out alive this level by losing half my lawnmowers in the final wave to the encroaching horde of dancing zombies. The next level to get a change is 3-7. Instead of bucketed zombies, they are screen door zombies this level. Screen door zombies and zombonis in the level after you unlock Spikeweed. I wonder what the game is telling us. Regardless, I played the level without Spikeweed because copium, I suppose, and you can see it's extremely punishing to not use Spikeweed here because there are so many zombies. Level 3-9 is the next level to receive a change in the layout, and it's one of, if not the toughest levels, as Snorkel zombies were added to create even more additional threats. If Pole Vaulters and Dolphin Rider zombies were not screaming use tallnuts here, Snorkel zombies certainly makes that message even more clear than before. This pattern of increasing the difficulty of every Choose Your Seats level after the introduction of a new zombie will continue up until the end of the original adventure mode. And at 5-9, this is truly one of, if not the most atrocious levels to play through on hard mode, thanks to the addition of football zombies, making the flag waves extremely difficult. Referencing on the spawning density table, in hard mode, the second flag or 20th wave of the level has a basic equivalent of 98 basic zombies. If you need to know how ridiculous that number actually is, excluding the number of zombies that can spawn from the bungee ambush, this is equivalent to a wave on flag 29 of Survival Endless. So take that as a warning of how difficult hard mode will be, as it is no funny matter and called hard for actually being hard and not just completely luck based. Now, having literally every single zombie in a 4th flag level on Night Roof is certainly a recipe for disaster, because it took literally ages for me to beat this level on hard mode. And this is what makes the mod truly magnificent. The hard difficulty of this mod is something that feels hard in the right way. It rewards planning, resource management, and micromanagement all in the right ways. It makes zombies waves more predictable, yet more difficult, with game mechanics being less abusable, and isn't getting a difficulty rating by making certain zombies impossible to kill. This is all thanks to all the under-the-hood changes to many random aspects of the original game, which was usually an aspect ignored regarding how RNG-dependent PvZ1 actually was. The spawning algorithm was random in which lanes to place zombies in, the duration between each sun generator was random, zombie speeds were randomized, and so many more glaring issues that have been just left seemingly ignored. And this RNG hellhole was covered up by just the fact that PvZ1 unfortunately is an extremely easy game to beat at the base level, allowing you to win even when you have terrible luck. With mods that bring in more difficult levels, these random aspects can be often much more impactful than they seem to have been in the original. And frankly, with an increase in difficulty, it demands the need for hard mode creators to fix up many of the random aspects in the game, and this mod does just that in the best way. Puff Shrooms now no longer have a random offset when placed, making it more predictable, which mitigates unnecessary randomness. All zombie speeds were also equalized so that each individual zombie no longer moves at a varied speed, making it significantly more reliable to group up zombies for potato mines. And again, as mentioned before, Colonel Bolt now has a much higher chance of lobbing butter, making it less RNG dependent and reliable. Even sun producers are no longer random. Each sun producer no longer produces at a variable range in this mod. And even the spawning is more consistent and less random. The spawning algorithm is now going to spread zombies across lanes even more evenly to avoid overcrowded lanes. And speaking of spawning, zombie bobsled teams now also appear outside of pool levels in any level where there are zombonis, as they previously were completely missing elsewhere. All these little tiny improvements are really just what makes the experience of playing this masterpiece of a game even more fun than before. The perfect update that PvZ 1 deserved. Everything in this mod was executed to such an outstanding way that I believe that it is deserving of the title of being the update that PvZ 1 truly deserved to get. It's not to say that there are some bad apples in this mod like Column Like You See 'Em or Level 6-9, which is totally ridiculous, but I have to say the overall quality of the mod is superb. And that's also thanks to the modders' dedication to improving PvZ by also addressing bugs and glitches that were never fixed by PopCap themselves. To think that this is a mod is truly a feat considering how well polished it is. Truly the best mod out there for PvZ 1 that's unique, and it makes PvZ feel great to play again. Huge shout out to the mod creator Sustu for making such a well polished mod. All information is credited in the description for all who want to explore the world of where PvZ 1 gets an update. As for the overall score for this mod, I give the mod a solid 9 out of 10. It would have been a 10 out of 10 if some of the conveyor belt levels were less annoying to beat. As of the recording of this video, the mod is still getting updated by the modder consistently to continue improving on the balance of plants. It seems like in the foreseeable future, there will be even more new minigames getting added as semi-confirmed by the mod developer themselves, so the mod might become even better. As for now, there have already been multiple community mods that have been aimed to continue and extend on PvZ Expansion's Adventure Mode, with a custom World 7 and also custom World 8. Those custom levels are unofficial, but still uphold to a standard of which PvZ Expansion has delivered thus far, so you should check them out if you finish all the new levels in this mod. Overall, I'm optimistic for the future of this mod, and the general reception to this mod has been overwhelmingly positive. Or it might turn for the worse, but I have high hopes that we hopefully have learned how to not update a mod after the experience we had with PvZ 2's ECLISE. That's it for this video covering PvZ Expansion, and next time I'll be back to play some mini-games on hard difficulty, as some of these are really tough. Remember to subscribe to stay tuned, and thank you to our channel members for supporting the RCCH channel.